Hello everyone, welcome to International Management and Marketing. This is the week 1 and today we are going to set the stage of exploring the scope and fundamental concepts of this module. So what is the module all about? This module is about understanding the complexity of managing and marketing across the borders. We will cover the key issues like the leadership in global context, global value chain, socio-political objective, and crucially, how to maintain customer awareness in a multicultural environment. Here is the international context. Let's establish the two terms, that is the globalization. This is a big picture, macroeconomic interdependence of the countries, and internationalization is a specific process of a firm that undertakes to do business in many countries, and this distinction is foundational. Now let's talk about the globalization, and this globalization involves the deepening the flow of the trade, finance, and the information, effectively creating a single global market. And there are some barriers to fall and access to information grows, as we can see the creation of common demands and expectation from worldwide, and this concept it is called global village. So in the global village, we can see the world's population share commonly recognized cultural symbols. That means similar products and the services can be sold in the similar group of the customer across the world. And we can like recognize is the emergence of the global marketplace, and cultural uh, like alignment applies the potential worldwide convergence of the market. So here is the forces for the globalization. Then what drives the globalization? The key forces include removal of the trade barriers. Another is the rise of the global customers, and the rise of the global customer who demand consistent services, and the power of the standardized technology that leads to like a homogenization of demand for products like smartphone. So what is the worldwide communication for the force like globalization? Internet is a blessing for the communication and the trade across the world, and global network is one of the important factors like in integrating the supply chain and external supplier and internal supplier. And there are some global like a cost drivers that is called economic of scale and scope for the business. It is one of the important factor. Now let's talk about the convergence of the taste across the borders. As we can see that homogenization leads to convergence of the taste, which promotes might differ slightly. The core brand image and consumer experience can remain consistent across the different market, as it can be seen like for example McDonald's and the other areas. So from the internationalization perspective, so why do firms internationalize? The drivers are powerful to create the new market, grow into the global brand, achieve the financial advantage through economic of scale and scope, stay ahead of the competitors and offset of the sale for the declinings at home. There are some international barriers because, however, the path is not smooth. Farms face significant barriers, including the government restriction like tariffs and unfavorable currency exchange rate. It is important factors. Political risks such as civil strike of war is important factor. And there is called a liability of foreignness. This is a critical concept. Here is the liability of foreignness. That means inherited disadvantage foreign firm face. It stems from difference in regulation, languages, culture, and business norm, putting international firms in immediate disadvantage compared to the local incumbent. So in the international barriers, there it is called psychological distance. That means it refers to how a different firm feels its management. It perceives distance based on the culture, language, and it heavily influences the decision whether and where to internationalize. Now let us discuss about the deglobalization. Just we are forces for globalization, we also see a counter trend, deglobalization. Recent events like a trade war, Brexit, the pandemic, geopolitical conflict have led government to pull back, protecting their own economies and national identities. So here is the one of the example like a world economic crash, United States and USA, trade wars, Brexit, global pandemic, Ukraine-Russian war, and global recession, one of the important factors. Now, this is a one of the like a discussion that is changing the consumer values. That is, consumer are driving this. Despite global brand, people are fiercely protective on their local culture and identity. They are loyal to the local brand, perceptive to the global brand only if they respect the local costumes. And this is a major challenges. And deglobalization is one of the example could be IKEA, and IKEA's initial failure is in China is a classic example. They offer beds that were too long, furniture too large for a small apartment, and it rely on DIY model unfamiliar to the Chinese consumer. And they have failed multiple aspects in the market responsiveness. KFC is one of the example, like KFC is also stumbled their foreign famous slogan translated poorly in China and in Saudi Arabia. There they were seen too American, and this is the irony, and they later sourced local chicken, showing that the adaptation is the key for the recovery. Now let's discuss about the difference between the global and the local strategy. This brings us one of the core strategic dilemma, that is the global versus local. A standardized global strategy that offers cost effectiveness and the brand integrity. A localized strategy promises higher return through a better market adaptation, and the debate is all about to deliver more values. Here is the global versus local strategy continued. A pure global strategy insists a brand must mean the same thing everywhere, and the common tactic is to enter to the market is a premium alternative to the local brand, leveraging a reputation to the higher quality. Now let's talk about the local strategy. A local strategy argues that you must respect the local originalities. That is, the success depends on the understanding your local brand's unique meaning in each market and operating with transparency and authenticity to win the trust, and especially in the younger customers. And the localization strategy, one of the KFC example is KFC comeback in China demonstrate successful localization by adding local dishes like congee and egg tarts, and that appeals both younger customers seeking an American experience and older generation wanting familiar food, making the brand inclusive. Here is the global framework. In reality, the best approach is often hybrid globalization. Think globally, act locally. This framework allows a firm to exploit the benefits of local integration and brand consistently while maintaining a local flexibility needed to succeed in the diverse market. Now here is the market responsiveness, that this is the need for local flexibility that is formalized in Hollandsen concept. The market responsiveness, that is the firm's ability to response, that means the adapt to the local condition like purchasing power, then climate, language, and the most importantly, the culture is the key determinant of the international success. This is the internationalization process, and so how does a firm actually do this? Hollinson provides a structure, 5 stages of model for internationalization process. It is started with the deep internal assessment of the firm's asset and the capabilities before looking outward at the global opportunities. So here is the internationalization process. This process, the firm to answer critical strategic question: what product do we take to the abroad? How we are going to compete? Where we are going to locate? And how we will organize our operation internationally? And these are the core concepts to tackle as a business manager. So thank you so much for listening this presentation. If you have any question, you can ask me in the class or you can send me an email. I'm happy to support you in one-to-one basis. Thank you.